It was a typical quiet afternoon in my suburban neighborhood. The sun was warm, casting golden rays over the neatly trimmed lawns and white picket fences. I had just finished my usual cup of chamomile tea, savoring the tranquility of the day. Life had settled into a predictable rhythm since my husband passed away 5 years ago. While I treasured the peace, there were days when silence felt heavy. The knock on my door startled me. I wasn't expecting Gagnon. As I opened it, there stood Daniel, my next door neighbor, looking more anxious than usual. Daniel was aging, a man in his early 40s, with kind eyes and a confident demeanor. We'd always exchanged pleasant interests, occasionally chatting about the weather or our shared appreciation for gardening, but this was the first time he'd come to my house unannounced. "Hi, CLA." He began, his voice soft but firm. "I hope I'm not bothering you." "Not at all." I replied, cheering for him to come in. "What brings you here?" He hesitated, glancing over his shoulder as if ensuring no one else was watching. When he finally stepped inside, the look in his eyes shifted from casual to something far deeper. It was a mix of vulnerability and urgency that I couldn't ignore. "I need your help," he said, running a hand through his neat hair. "It's something personal." I guided him to the couch, curiosity bubbling inside me. "Of course, Dana, what's on your mind?" He sat, hands clasped at each other, and took a deep breath. "I don't know each other very well, beauty. Always admired your strength. You've built such a beautiful life, even after everything you've been through, and you could use someone like you in my corner." His words caught me off guard. What kind of favor could he possibly need from me? Daniel explained his predicament with a mix of apprehension and hope. He had a younger sister, Emily, who was struggling through a difficult divorce. Emily had always looked up to Daniel, relying on him for support, but this time her situation required a nurturing presence. Sia believed that my life experience and wisdom could provide her with the guidance she needed. "She's fragile right now," Daniel admitted, "and I think hearing from someone who's been through hardship and come out stronger could really help her." It was an unusual request, but as Daniel spoke, I could sense how deeply Heckard for his sister there was something engineering about his vulnerability. The way he wasn't afraid to ask for help. "I'd be honored to meet her," I said, placing a reassuring hand on his. "If you think I can make a difference, I'll do what I can." Gratitude that lit up his face was enough to convince me I'd made the right decision. Over the next few days, we made arrangements for Emily to visit my home. In the meantime, Daniel and I grew close to air, began stopping by more often, sharing stories about his family, his work, and his dreams. I found myself looking forward to his visits in a way I hadn't felt in years. One evening, as Wes sat on my porch, sipping lemonade and watching the sunset, he looked at me with an intensity that made my heart skip a beat. "CLA," he began, his voice low, "I never expected this favor to bring us closer, but it's been nice, hasn't it?" I nodded, unsure of what to say. There was a warmth between us, something unspoken, but undeniably present. Emily's visit turned out to be a turning point, not just for her, but for me as well. She arrived at my home one afternoon, timid and unsure butas. We sat together and talked. I saw her confidence begin to bloom. We shared stories of resilience and hope, and by the time she left, I felt as though I'd gained a friend. But it was Daniel's reaction that truly stayed with me. When Aine came by to check on Emily, his gratitude was evident. He hugged me tightly, lingering just a moment longer. "Thin necessary, thank you, CLE," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "You've done more for Emily than I ever could have imagined, and you've done something for me too." That evening, as we shared aqua dinner in my dining room, Daniel opened up in a way he hadn't before. He confessed that his visits hadn't been just about Emily, they'd been about the connection he felt with me. "I never thought I'd feel this way again," he admitted, his eyes searching mine. But Toof reminded me that it's never too late to find happiness. I was stunned, but I looked into his eyes. I realized I felt the same. The moments which shared the laughter, the quiet conversations had awakened something in me I thought was long gone. That night, under the soft glow of my dining room chandelier, we shared our first kiss. It was tender and hesitant, but it carried the promise of something beautiful in the weeks that followed. Daniel and I began exploring this new chapter of our lives. It wasn't always easy, blending our histories and expectations, but it was worth every moment. Emily continued to thrive, and so did we. Looking back, I realized that the favor Daniel asked AFM wasn't just about helping his sister, it was about helping both of us find the courage to embrace the possibility of love again, and in doing so, we discovered that sometimes the most unexpected requests can lead to the most extraordinary journeys.